everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing an interview with the housing director at TCU. I thought this would be a great way to give information both to students and parents who are incoming freshmen or just coming back in the fall in general. So I have some questions that I am going to ask him. I will insert his video onto the screen so you can see what he looks like, and let's just get into this interview. So hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. Chloe, it's an honor to be talking with your followers today.
Well, thank you for being on my channel.
Okay, glad to do it.
Okay, so my first question is, how is move-in working? Can we have people help us move in this year?
It's a great question, and everybody knows, or I suppose maybe our returning students know, first years don't, but definitely makes it easier to have some people there to help you. And so, yes, we are going to gladly allow people to bring family members with them, friends, if they want to. We would ask that maybe you limit it to just a couple people, but you are more than welcome to bring people with you to help move in.
Perfect. And then for move-in, what is the protocol for people who do move us in?
That's also a good question. We want to make sure that everybody is safe, and we know that during move-in, in addition to our students and the people they bring with them, that we will have thousands of people on campus every day. And so it's going to be largely a drive-through process. You will get information. We have a move-in guide posted on our website, and you can also go to your email, TCU email, and see instructions that we've sent. But it's really important that you'll drive into Lot 3. You'll move from there through our check-in process and then eventually get directed to your building where you'll unload your stuff. And please do bring face covering. Please bring gloves if you want them. They're not required, but if you want to. And we will have move-in carts and people there to greet you. But it's really important that you follow that process, follow your time, your assigned time. And if everybody does that, it's going to go really smoothly.
Perfect. For incoming freshmen who have most of their classes online, do you think coming to live on campus is important?
A very good question. We've actually gotten a lot of this question in our email and phone calls. I absolutely believe it's important, and it's precisely because students are doing online education that I think being on campus is going to help them. Chloe, you probably remember, and maybe you've told people before about living in Shirley Hall. And
yes.
One of the parts of living on campus is that, let's say you're studying or you're working on something and you know someone down the hall is in the same class, you get stuck, you can go walk down and go talk to them and sit and grab a coffee and process through your classwork. And when you're online, sure, you can call or you can FaceTime, but it's not quite the same as having people all around you who are in the class at the same time you are. So I really think that it's important for that reason, for academically. Also socially, meeting other college students, having that similar experience. Is it possible to do that virtually? It's certainly possible, but I think it'll happen a lot more naturally with students living on campus. So we really want people to be here. We believe it will help them have a great freshman year, and that's why we're opening up and doing things carefully, safely, so that students can have a great freshman experience.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I think even now, if I was an incoming freshman, I'd want to come to campus because last year, living in Shirley, or just in general, knowing people around the Shirley Hall area, since there's Foster and Waits, that you can go over to the building or sit outside because there's seating outside, do some homework, and kind of feed off of each other, because college classes are definitely hard, and I feel like having a friend is helpful. And when I came home for school, I was so used to having my friends to study with and do stuff with that it was a little bit harder to transition from not having that group or that study experience to being at home in my kitchen doing homework.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And in fact, I'm also a parent of horned frogs, and my son, who had his senior year last year, when classes went online, he came home for a bit, and he thought, it made sense he would be at home. And after 2 weeks, he had enough, and he went back to campus. And he finished the semester living on campus with his apartment mates and other friends who were still in the area. And I think for him, that, especially the social aspect and having people that he could hang out with who were his friends from college and that they could talk academics and just talk TCU sports was really important to him. And since I mentioned TCU sports, another reason to come back to campus, students are going to get priority for football games, so you'll get in there before I do probably. What better way to have some fun than blow off a little steam than to watch some sports with your friends live in person.
Yes, I'm very excited to come back and hopefully get in the stands because football season is the best season. And I think anyone who goes to TCU knows that football season is where we just thrive as a school. With that, will there be student events on campus?
Absolutely. We obviously have to follow, not even just want to, but have to follow guidelines from the county health offices and from the state. And so we talk with those folks regularly. We know that what size events we can have, where we can hold things, all of the different ballrooms and different activity room spaces. We know what our new maximum capacity is that will start the semester. And hopefully if things get better and we can slow the virus down, or if a vaccine comes out or whatever might happen, we'll be able to have more events and maybe even larger scale events. But for now, I think students can expect smaller scale events done throughout campus and done safely, which means they're going to wear a face covering and try to stay socially distanced. And but there's still going to be lots of fun things to do, just doing them a little differently than we've done them in the past.
It's a big adjustment for everybody, but it's nice that there will be something to look forward to on campus.
Absolutely.
What is the policy going to be for students on campus?
So I think some of the things students will have to expect is the face mask, face covering, whichever word you want to use. I don't want to give away any secrets, but you may find that there might be some gifts along that line for students when they come back. And I just ordered some today from a company that look pretty cool. So it's now the new fashion accessory, right?
Yes.
You get your face covering and put it on. And so when you're not in your room, in your residence hall room that you live in, anywhere else on campus, you're going to be expected to have that on. And so that's important to know. When it comes to policies in the residence halls, it's largely the same school policies, but we are going to restrict outside guests, meaning if you have a friend who attends Baylor, I mean, I don't know why you would, but if you did, and they were going to come visit you, they could come visit, they just won't be able to come in the residence halls, and that means no overnight guests from outside of campus. And we're doing that, obviously, because one of the ways this thing spreads is when people come into communities and leave them. Once we get our TCU community together and we can test and isolate positive cases, if we limit exposure, then we're all going to be in good shape. So no guests in the residence halls, and visitors, we will allow students to have other TCU students visit them. So there had been a rumor going around that if I lived in Shirley, I could never leave and no one could come in. That's not true. We absolutely want students who live on campus to interact with each other, or even if they interact with off-campus friends, we'll just limit the number of people in a room at any one time to whatever double the occupancy of that space is. So, for example, if you lived in an Arnold suite, two-bedroom suite, you could have two other people in there with you. 4 people would be your maximum capacity. So that's how we're going to do that.
Okay. That is good to know. I feel like that will definitely be nice to have some friend come and see a different face, because I know that when you have a roommate, it's nice to invite other people over. So having 2 is definitely better than having 0.
Absolutely. And, and if things go well, and we get into September, October, and we find that we're doing great, maybe we increase that, or maybe we allow outside guests at that point. But we're going to start the year being a little more firm, a little more strict, to make sure that we can keep this thing going.
And I think that is good, to make sure we're as safe as possible when we go back to school. For guests, even though we cannot have outside friends, if a family member wants to come and visit, is it the same policy where they cannot come inside the building?
It'll be the same policy for family as well. Not during move-in. Obviously, during move-in, until classes start, obviously family can come and go and visit to get people settled. And, we're trying to make it as normal a process. And for those family members who are sending off, their first child to school, we don't want to tell them that they can't hang around for a couple days and see their son or daughter. So absolutely they can do it. Now, some of the students watching your channel might say, oh, geez, I was hoping to tell my mom and dad they had to leave right away. Sorry. If mom and dad know, they'll know they can visit. And then when classes start, we're going to say no in the residence hall. It doesn't mean you can't meet them for lunch, dinner, hang out, but not in the hall.
Okay, perfect. I'm sure this is a big question that a lot of people have, but what happens if a student tests positive? What is going to be the situation for that student and or their roommate?
Very good question, and we do get that a lot. We have set up what we call isolation beds, and the isolation beds will be mostly in a few different halls, and we have one off-campus, slightly off-campus facility where we've secured beds, and that's where students will go if they are positive and they need to be isolated. If they are in isolation, we're going to provide what we call wraparound service, which means we're going to deliver meals to them. They're going to get 3 meals a day delivered, plus some snacks and whatever. We will take care of their laundry. We'll ask them to take enough for at least a week, but then if we have to do laundry for them, we're going to pick up laundry, have it sent out, cleaned, returned to the student. We will have a list of phone numbers for them to call if they need something. They wake up during the night and they're feeling not well, who to call for that. And they'll have a care coordinator, somebody who's trained to kind of touch base with them a couple times a day just to see how they're doing. What else am I forgetting? Trash service. They'll just put their trash outside the door. We'll pick it up and take it away. So really complete services while they're in isolation. And while they're in isolation, if they're feeling well, students will be encouraged to keep doing classes online, and then know that once they're cleared by our medical staff, they can go back to their room and resume normal, activity. Now, for the students who were exposed to someone who's positive, but they aren't positive, we will ask those students to do what we call as quarantine, where you monitor your health, take your temperature daily, make sure you don't have any symptoms, limit your interaction with others, but you're still free to come and go from your room, but just try to limit your interaction. Probably not go to classes in person while you're in quarantine. And then again, once you're clear, once you're through that, assuming you don't test positive, then you're back to normal activities.
Perfect. Well, that sounds like a good plan. Hopefully not a lot of students get it, but if they do, it sounds kind of like a luxury 14-day, a little break from school.
Yeah. You line up what you want to watch on Netflix, and then you get to go enjoy some peace and quiet.
Yes, sometimes that's important.
Exactly.
So for the last question that I have is, what is going to happen with dining?
Dining, we're still going to have all of our locations open. The only exception to our locations is in the Bass building, which is primarily nursing students. We had a small food cart there that we operated a few days. We're going to have to take that out. Otherwise, all our locations will be open. We will have still pretty much the same types of hours. We reduced the price of the meal plans since the semesters is a little shorter. So all the students will see slightly lower price for their meal plan. And then what we're mostly having to pay attention to is seating capacity. And right now we're at 50%. So we'll have ability for people to sit down and eat if they want to, still in Market Square at any location, until we hit that 50%. And then people will have to take their food with them elsewhere. We're hoping to put up a tent right outside Chick-fil-A on the patio so that we'll have some extra outdoor seating. We're working on some additional shade in Market Square for that outdoor patio, so that'll help us expand seating. And then the food itself is going to be largely what I will call a touchless, meaning you won't ever grab a pair of tongs and serve yourself anything. It'll all be handed to you, probably in a container that you can take with you, or you can go sit down and eat in that location. So touchless, to-go ready, still the same types of menus, same types of food offerings. And I guess the last change I will say is that we changed what was called our Market Square membership plan and our other freshman plan to what we're calling the Ultimate Flex 19. And that means 19 meals a week, and you can eat them anywhere on campus. So the whole notion of I have to go to Market Square, you won't have to go to Market Square unless you want to. You can swipe and get a meal anywhere with your meal plan. And we're doing that for fall because we need people to have more flexibility. We're also doing that to make sure that we can serve everybody in a timely way.
Okay, and then one thing is I know that you can change your meal plan past a certain date. Is there going to be, let's say, for me, I know I chose one meal plan because I wasn't sure what's going to go on when I get to campus, but one weekend I'm like, oh, I wish I got this meal plan instead. When is like cut off to change your meal plan?
That's a great question. You can actually change all the way up till the second week of classes and what we call the 12th class day. So on the 12th day of classes, that'll be the last day to change your meal plan. So you have 2 weeks of classes to figure out, is this the right meal plan for me? And you can still make a change. There's no cost, no penalties. You can change your plan and then be set for whatever you want for the rest of the semester.
Perfect. Look at that. I feel like I'm excited. I am ready to come back to school. It's going to be a really, I think, the best time it could be for what's going on in the world.
I hope so. I really do. I think that, you know, at the end of the day, if we all are careful, and I don't want to say we can still have fun, we just have to be smart about what we're doing. And I think I trust TCU students. They're pretty smart. And I think people want to be here and they want to be on campus. So hopefully if everybody remembers that, yes, there's going to be some things that might not be quite what they had hoped for. But it's still going to be a great experience. And then hopefully by spring, let's hope maybe this goes away or maybe it gets under control at least. I
hope so, because I am ready to come back. And yeah. I'm not excited for the heat, but I'm excited to come back.
That's right. And for your followers who are coming from cooler climates, get ready because this last weekend was hot. So,
yeah. Yep. Well, thank you so much for your time and for answering all of my questions. I know that this was helpful for me. Got a lot of my questions answered that I've been wondering, and I hope for everybody who is watching that this was helpful and that you were able to get a better look into what school is going to be like at TCU, how we're going to operate, and hopefully it just goes as great as I know it can be and that everyone has the best freshman year or whatever year you're coming back to, that it's the best year it can possibly be. Thank you to Mr. Allen for coming on to my channel and for talking a little bit about what school is going to look like in the fall. To all the incoming TCU freshmen, I hope that this is the best year it can possibly be. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me in the comments or DM me on Instagram. I would love to help you guys get through your freshman year because I know it can be a little bit crazy and scary. And also, I hope that all the parents that are watching that this was helpful for you guys and you were able to get an inside scoop about what TCU is going to look like in the fall. And to all the returning students who are coming back to TCU, I cannot wait to see you guys if we're friends, and if we're not, I hope that you do have the best year possible. And to TCU Housing and Mr. Allen, thank you again for the opportunity to film this video and to hopefully help a lot of people who are coming to TCU in the fall. I hope that if you did enjoy today's video that you would subscribe to my channel, hit that red button down below, become a part of my family. Also, if you did like today's video, please do not forget to like it as well as share it with your friends and comment down below for any other videos you'd like to see me do. And I hope that wherever you are, whether it's morning, afternoon, or night, that you have or had an amazing day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye! Peace!